I am 101 years old, and I want to tell you something that will make you uncomfortable. Not because it's dramatic, not because it's shocking, but because it's simple, and once you truly understand it, you won't be able to unsee it. No one warned you about this. Not your parents, not your teachers, not your motivational speakers, not even your therapists, because if they told you the truth, you wouldn't sleep the same tonight. I've lived long enough to see the world end and restart several times. I was born before television was common, before computers, before the internet convinced everyone they were busy. I've buried people I thought I couldn't live without. I've watched cities change names. I've watched morals change, fashions disappear, wars come and go. And after 101 years, there is one realization that follows me everywhere. Most people don't ruin their lives. They leak them away, not through big mistakes, not through dramatic failures, but through tiny, forgettable moments of absence. Let me tell you when I first felt this truth. I was 29 years old. It was the summer of 1952. I was married to a man named Henry. We had one daughter, Eleanor, who was 4 years old at the time. Henry worked long hours. I stayed home. Life was ordinary, quiet, predictable, and I thought that meant safe. One Tuesday afternoon, Eleanor tugged on my sleeve while I was folding laundry. "Mommy, come play with me." I remember sighing, not out loud, but inside. I told her, "In a minute, sweetheart. Mommy just needs to finish this." She waited. She always waited. 10 minutes later, she had fallen asleep on the living room floor, clutching her dolls. I didn't think anything of it. Why would I? I thought I had decades of Tuesdays ahead of me. 3 months later, Eleanor got sick. A fever at first, then pain, then the hospital. I sat beside her bed while machines breathed for her. She died on a Thursday morning. And do you know what memory destroyed me? Not her last breath, not the funeral, not the silence of her bedroom. It was that Tuesday, the laundry, the sigh, because in that moment, I learned something that took me another 70 years to fully understand. The most painful regrets aren't caused by cruelty. They're caused by postponement. I'll do it later. I'll be more present tomorrow. I'm too tired today. Later is a lie we tell ourselves to feel safe. After Eleanor died, I told myself I would never waste time again. I meant it. I really did. And I failed. Over and over. Because grief doesn't make you wise. It just makes you alert for a while. Then life slowly pulls you back into forgetting. Henry and I grew distant after Eleanor's death. We didn't fight. We didn't yell. We just stopped reaching. One night, he asked me if I wanted to sit outside with him. I told him I was exhausted. I chose sleep. He died of a stroke the next morning, and suddenly, every not tonight became permanent. Here's something young people don't understand yet. Loss doesn't arrive loudly. It arrives quietly, and then it echoes forever. I remarried in my 40s. A man named Samuel. Kind, gentle, deeply patient. We had 36 years together. Do you know what my greatest regret with him was? Not the arguments, not the hard years, not the money problems. It was how often I half-listened. I would nod while thinking about groceries, smile while planning tomorrow, answer while checking the clock. And I didn't realize what I was doing until one evening when he stopped mid-sentence and said, "You're not here." He wasn't angry. He was sad. And I told myself I'd do better. Sometimes I did. Often I didn't. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Awareness is temporary. Forgetting is automatic. You don't choose to drift. It just happens. One day you wake up and realize you've been rushing through your own life like it was a chore to complete instead of a place to inhabit. I watch my friends die one by one, some quickly, some slowly, all too soon. At 70, I thought I understood life. At 80, I realized I didn't. At 90, I stopped pretending. Now, at 101, I see the pattern clearly. People think the problem is that life is short. It's not. Life is long enough to waste completely. The real danger is assuming you'll remember what matters. You won't. You will forget. Again and again. You will forget how fragile people are. You will forget how temporary today is. You will forget how much this moment costs. And one day, you'll wake up surrounded by silence and wonder where your life went. I have a grandson who's 42, brilliant man, always busy, always tired. When he visits, he checks his phone constantly. He tells me about deadlines, responsibilities, pressure. I nod. I understand, but I want to grab his hands and tell him, one day, you will give anything to sit exactly where you are right now, and you won't be able to, because the cruelest thing about time is that it only becomes precious when it's gone. People think regret comes from failure. It doesn't. Regret comes from neglect, from the dinner conversations you rushed, from the hugs you shortened, from the listening you postponed. I promise you this, at the end of your life, you will not wish you answered more emails. You will wish you stayed longer at the table. You will wish you asked better questions. You will wish you noticed. The moments that haunt me are not dramatic. They're painfully ordinary. A walk I didn't take. A story I didn't listen to. A silence I filled with noise instead of presence. You think you'll remember to appreciate people later. You won't. You have to practice now. Presence is not a feeling. It's a discipline. And it is exhausting, which is why most people avoid it. Being present means feeling everything. The boredom, the sadness, the vulnerability. Scrolling is easier. Working late is easier. Being busy is easier. But busy is the most socially acceptable way to abandon your life. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to sell everything and move to the mountains. I'm telling you something far more difficult. Stay. Stay when it's uncomfortable. Stay when it's quiet. Stay when nothing exciting is happening. Because those are the moments that build a life you don't regret. I don't fear death. What terrifies me is how much of my life I was not truly alive for. If I could speak to my younger self, I wouldn't say live more. I would say slow down enough to notice that you already are. You don't need a new routine. You don't need a new goal. You don't need a new version of yourself. You need to stop abandoning the version that's already here. Call the person you keep thinking about. Sit with someone without multitasking. Listen without preparing your reply. One day, you'll realize those moments were the whole thing. I've lived 36,865 days. And the days that mattered most, you'd never post them online. They were quiet, unimpressive, unproductive, and they were everything. Don't wait until you're my age to understand this. Don't wait until the house is silent. Don't wait until the chair stays empty. Don't wait until memory is all you have left. Choose presence now, because later is not waiting for you. Later never comes.